Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new chapter of Old Man Brad. Whether you are new to the show or returning for another episode, thank you so much for giving me a listen. If you love the show, drop me a review over on your favorite podcast app or become a patron at patreon.com/oldmanbrad. So we are right at the beginnings of the month of Mattei. Last week you heard Gerald from the Awards Garage come on and talk Cruel Jaws, which was quite a movie in itself. But you know what? I can't stop with one. This is my biggest month I've ever done. Biggest series, biggest everything. We're continuing on with Bruno Mattei's Hell of the Living Dead, and it goes by 10 other names. But I have another guest this week. I brought my good friend Drew to talk Hell of the Living Dead. How you doing, Drew?
I'm doing all right. It goes by many names, much like myself when I frequent single bars.
Even Bruno directs under many names.
This is true. Could you imagine him doing like an interview and someone going like, "Hey, so how's this movie?" And he's like, "What?" And then they say virus, and he's like, "Oh, sorry."
Do you think that is kind of like Italian movies, especially here in America? Like they change the names.
Sure.
They go by you'll look up a movie under one name in Letterboxd, and it comes up as something else, or the art's something else. You're like, oh, well, I've heard of this one. I didn't know what this one was.
Right. I've always been intrigued to see, or like I wanted to see certain Italian films, like instead of them just like translating it verbatim, like Don't Strangle a Duckling. Like what would be what would be the English title? I always wanted like different variations.
Or they try to plug their movies into other series.
Right.
The zombie series, La Casa, Demons, even Jaws. Last week we talked Cruel Jaws, and they called it Jaws 5 because it's going to make money.
Because they want to piggyback, and they know what works.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's shameless. I would say that it is creative usage. Maybe they borrow.
Oh, Bruno borrows for sure.
they pay homage. They pay homage to quite a few things.
With him, though, I don't know if it's homage as much as like, you know what? I like that. I'm just going to go ahead and make it myself.
I'm going to make it. I'm going to take it. And you know what? I'm going to throw things into a movie that have no reason being there. Mm-hmm. And it's just going to be filler. I can tell you that there are at least like a compilation of 5 minutes of animal footage that have no relevance.
Nope, none at all.
To this movie whatsoever.
None at all. Before that, you'd seen this movie before. This was a rewatch for you.
This was a rewatch for me. I saw this in 2023 was the first time that I watched it.
Okay. Do you have any other history with Bruno Mattei movies of like Cruel Jaws, or I know you said you've seen Rats.
I've definitely seen Rats Night of Terror, which I actually really like that movie. Cruel Jaws, I've definitely seen. We were just talking about Terminator 2 earlier.
Shocking Dark.
Strike Commando, Zombie 3. There's here and there with Bruno Mattei, but not his entire catalog. Yeah. I have seen the seven Magnificent Gladiators, which I think is just I think it's kind of a hoot.
Well, I will say after this month is over, I will probably watch a few more of his movies just for fun, so I can kind of continue on, as well as his partner that he does a lot of these movies with, Claudio Fragasso, who is most famous for Troll 2.
Oh my God.
He and Bruno worked together on quite a few of these films, and Claudio in a lot of interviews even said, like, yeah, I directed like half that movie. One coming later in the month was Claudio's movie, Night Killer, and the studio hired Bruno in to put blood and gore in it, and then that kind of caused a rift. But
Italian Freddy Krueger?
Sure. You've seen some here and there, so you kind of know what to expect from his films if you watched one. You know it's going to be cheesy. Dialogue.
I think I would know what to expect, not just from a Bruno Mattei movie, but like from Italian horror, or more importantly, Italian zombies.
True. Yes.
I definitely would say I would know what to expect.
All right. This one, first time watch for me. I had not seen it. All the movies that I did or am doing this month for the Month of Mattei, I had not seen. They were all first time watches for me. So I hadn't seen Cruel Jaws, Hell of the Living Dead, Rats Night of Terror, Zombie 3, Night Killer, and The Other Hell, the nunsploitation movie he did. All first-time watches for me, and it's been an interesting journey. Before we dive into the movie itself, anything about Bruno or even Claudio that you want to say before we dive headfirst into this movie?
I think I'm good for it. I am happy these movies exist despite some of the follies, which I find to be their ultimate charm.
Makes sense. Yes, I get that. All right, so let's dive into Hell of the Living Dead.
The whole village is contaminated. There have been many deaths. Now they're celebrating the funerals.
Bodies have to be cremated.
Wish to God I knew what's happening here.
I insist that the most serious situation we have to deal with is cremating the bodies. Cut it out! Stop wasting your damn bullets, you jerks! You need to hit their heads! I told you! Say it like this!
A rat causes a chemical leak at a Papua New Guinea research facility, leading a group of eco-terrorists to demand the closure of all facilities. When a team of Interpol commandos are enlisted to eliminate the terrorists, they find themselves embroiled in a zombie outbreak. That, I almost want to call bullshit on, but anyway, this is written by Claudio Fragasso, directed by Bruno Mattei. It stars Margaret Evelyn Newton, Franco Garofalo, Celan Correa, and many others. Came out originally in Spain in 1980, and I think it came out in the U.S. Didn't hit the U.S. until 1983. All right, what are your quick thoughts on Hell of the Living Dead before we dive in? Full spoiler, just to let people know, we will spoil it. We're going to talk the whole movie. Drew's got notes for days.
I do have notes for days. If you are not familiar with zombie horror or even Italian zombie horror, specifically Italian zombie horror, the amount of dramatic pauses that certain actors, specifically actresses, will take is almost annoying to the degree that they take it.
Yeah.
The screams, while of course people are being eaten or bitten or the zombies are coming closer, it's just like that, and of course you yell at your screen like, move, run away.
And anyone who watches Italian, especially zombie horror, because it's badly dubbed over, because they wanted to make it, they dubbed over the movies so they could make it for, U.S. audiences to release it here.
I don't mind the dubbing. The dubbing I didn't think was really like a problem at all.
I think it's part of the charm of these movies is because it's going to be poorly dubbed over with the poor, the screams, the sound effects, the everything else. And it kind of adds to it.
Yeah, you're talking to a person who absolutely loves 60s, 70s, 80s martial arts films. So I'm fine with the dubbing. The dubbing is not an issue for me. And I know it's the 80s, but man, the amount of synth music throughout this entire film.
Well, funny thing about that
is a lot.
Bruno Mattei, who I didn't say at the beginning, this is the first time he directed under the pseudonym Vincent Dawn. He did many movies under this name after this. But he basically wanted to make his own Dawn of the Dead. I don't know if you could tell. If you could tell that at all, he wanted to try to make Dawn of the Dead. And one of those, he got, Dawn of the Dead, zombie was a big thing, so he got Goblin to do the music for his movie.
Is it Goblin?
But
is it really Goblin?
Yeah. He didn't want to pay. They didn't want to pay for new music for them to make. So they redid music that they did in other movies, such as Dawn of the Dead and other films, as well as some of their albums. They reworked some of their own music for the movie because it was cheaper.
See, I like Goblin, but it didn't seem like Goblin to me.
It was a little different. It wasn't what you normally hear from them, for sure.
I do love the beginning when they're, going over and checking the different sectors in the power plant. And I love the scientists, and they're all like, is everything working right? Yes, sir. All the lights are flashing in the same order.
Yeah.
Again and again and again. And I love the voiceover that you can hear on the speaker. It's all like, radiation leak in sector so-and-so. radiation leak in sector so-and-so. And it's just repeating and repeating. And the people who were down there, like, checking the radiation leak before the rat incident, it's all like, oh, this needle's going crazy. And I'm like, you mean the needle's going crazy at the same moment that you're turning the dial to make the dial move? And I wrote my notes, and I'm like, these are safe radiation suits. They are loose hoods.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean,
sitting over a suit, like nothing is sealed. Nothing's sealed and keeping you from radiation.
No.
So of course this rat is going to, like, climb up your hood and, like, eat your face.
Which was pretty funny because I had just watched Rat's Night of Terror probably a few days before watching this. So in the beginning...
Where do you think the rats came from?
Yeah, when the beginning started with that rat climbing up the suit and everything, I was like, oh, in my mind now, this is like a pseudo sequel because I went from watching Rats to this.
So the rat, like, eats his face and he falls back and, like, breaks off something and gas is leaking. And I'm thinking to myself, if you clearly know that's what it is, shut off that valve.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fix the valve and everything should be fine. But then you have not only, like, the head scientist and other personnel coming up in that area to find the bodies, but all of them are wearing different levels of apparently biohazard gear. You have just, like, normal gas masks. You have the loose hood gas masks. You have guys in, like, jumpsuits plus normal gas masks.
It's whatever they could get at the store on the way over to film that day.
There's no consistency in their safety procedures.
No.
But I love the head guy, like, recording his, like, outgoing message for, like, he's like, to whoever finds this, Operation Sweet Death.
I thought it was funny when the zombies, when they turn and they start attacking, like, the scientists are just standing there, like, watching them. Don't you think
that's what I wrote?
you would try to get away or panic? I don't know, something. But no, they're just standing there waiting.
How did they not see him? There's 10 people there. And I wrote, oh, yes, let's just stare and watch while this guy is getting eaten. And then the next scene, they're just, like, carrying on like nothing happened. There's no, like, shoot up the guy eating the other guy.
No.
And then the head scientist, like, he removed his mask. And I'm like, shouldn't he be infected now?
You would think.
I did like the transition of him taking off the mask. And then suddenly, after he took off the mask, he's in his office.
Well, there were some odd transitions at the beginning too, because you cut to the police and everything, like, guns drawn outside, like it's a hostage situation at this point.
Shouldn't all the police have the same type of gun too?
You would think.
They should all they should all have the same handgun and the same, like, rifle. All of them, it looks like they raided, like, the cartel, and they just have, like, various like they went to. They went and, like, went shopping with John Wick, and he's just like, I'll take those, some of those, a few of those.
Again, just like the suits. They just went to whatever local store there was. They're like, what do we got? I guess that'll work. That one will work. I guess we can go with that one. And I've learned this with Bruno's movies, is just, especially the inconsistencies in not only scenes, but costumes and everything else as you kind of move through the film. You don't question it. You just kind of, like, at this point, I'm like, okay, this is just part of his films.
You smile and nod. I love the depiction of the terrorists while they're inside. The guy with the long hair and the glasses and the gun who, like, looks over at the grandma who you can hear holding the girl who's whimpering, and he's just like, shh. As he, like, shakes the gun at her, like, hey, bitch.
Yeah,
you shut up now.
I forgot.
I'm a big important man.
I forgot about that group of people inside the room that they come in.
It's such a weird little scene. But then, like, before the SWAT team, like the SWAT team that we see for the rest of the film,
they're commandos.
They're out there, like, they're commandos. I call them, like, I think I wrote like SEAL Team Aqua Blue.
Yeah,
like,
in their little blue
later
uniform.
On. I said, like, yeah, before I go on a police raid, I always talk about my coworkers' balls in tropical locations.
And talk about I'm a tip man myself.
It's so stupid. I forgot that it didn't do it, but I really, really wanted the news crew while they were there filming. I wrote ahead in my notes and I went, oh, stupid news ruining SWAT team's ability for surprise. Because I thought they were going to film them on top of the building.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to go like, there's the SWAT team like going in and they're going to save the hostages, and have the guys inside go like, oh, thanks. Go set up outside that door. Shoot him if you see him.
The 1-2 guys inside, as they're kind of going up the stairs and stuff, like the overacting of them, like holding his gun and like moving along. I was at this point, I think we're only, maybe 10 minutes into the movie. I'm laughing and I'm like, I'm going to love this. If it keeps up like this the entire time, I'm going to have a ball.
The fact that the lead terrorist was caught monologuing before he and the rest of his friends were shot, I'm like, nope, you deserve it. If you're going to monologue and not shoot your hostages like you were supposed to, sorry, you deserve to get shot.
He doesn't learn. I mean, the bad guy should never long monologue or it's over for you. You got to learn that, right?
And then straight from the hostage, we're now in Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, we leave and they're in a truck driving, and they have a kid who's sick. And
even before that, you have SEAL Team Aqua Blue is like on the radio trying to call into headquarters, and no one's talking back. Yet they're also wearing the exact same suits from the raid, and they are also like, I think one of the best lines, he's all like, "Shit Creek and the year is now." But they're surrounded by random tribal burial.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Little, like, not even, what would you say? Like,
there's some skulls and some, like, tribal.
It's like they're tribal burial mounds, but they're
almost
like raised off the ground.
Yeah.
Like, it's resembling like Native American burial grounds where they would like raise the bodies off the ground closer to the sky. But these are like, they're almost like huddled up and like bunched and then covered in like clay or dirt and then just left to rot. But also like, this is not near a village. This is not near anything where anybody is there. It's just like they set them up in this random clearing. It's supposed to add context in some fashion.
Eventually, until they throw the documentary stock footage in there.
Oh my God. The amount of random National Geographic stock footage, it is beyond laughable.
Well, what's funny is they use the stock footage of these tribal people. And then when they get into the tribe, you can completely tell, like, it's actors
like,
that are dressed nothing like the tribesmen we just saw.
Nothing like them. I think, like, later on, I have a note of when the woman goes into the village and you have a guy in the background who has twice, maybe 3 times the size of any afro of the normal tribesmen have. And he's also sitting there like smiling like a goober in the background. Like, you see this naked white bitch?
Is he the one that's on the throne?
No, he's not on the throne. He's standing in the background with the spear, and he's just like smiling. Like, he's all like, look at this naked white girl. look at them titties. That's what he looks like. It's just weird. You're right, but like the amount of like stock footage makes zero sense. But I love the next scene when obviously we're riding in the car and you have a sick child and they show that apparently he's been bit by some native. Why didn't we have this? Why was this not in the movie? I want to see a kid get attacked.
I don't know. And
to quote Brian Loisauce, the god of podcasting himself, I want to see a kid get decapitated.
Because you didn't know what happened to this kid, and they stop. The 2 people get out, one to go film, and they're looking around why the sick kid is in the car.
They were going to go get water.
But why can't you keep driving up to where it's a little shorter walk?
Well, why can't you? Why can't you in this apparent like place that looks like it's been abandoned since the 40s?
Yeah.
There's nothing there. It's supposed to be a mission apparently, but like I wrote infected children, the best kind of zombie.
There is something there. You have the priest. She comes in.
Right. When she goes in, like clearly it's a mission. And whatever room she goes into where the priest is, it's either, it might double up as both like the sanctuary and a school hall.
Yeah.
Because there's like papers and a chalkboard. And you also see other children toys. Like there's stuffed animals that are strewn around as well. I mean, I don't know about you, Brad, but I wanted more zombie children.
Yeah,
there's never enough zombie children. We got one.
Well, you need to go watch Bruno's final film. He has zombie babies in that one. So You can go check that one out.
So he did copy Dawn of the Dead.
But when we come into the priest, you just see him from the back, just, this figure, he's just sitting there, and she's like, oh, yay, we found somebody.
Father, what's wrong, Father?
Yeah, and she says it probably about 30 times before he turns around and half of his face is just torn off and bloodied.
Or infected and pus-ridden. Like, I mean, that's the other question. Like, what kind of zombie infection is this? Is it like you're bitten and you turn into a zombie? Or do you actually, like, does your skin just start to corrode? Because there's some inconsistencies with the zombies that we see throughout the film. We have pus and almost like burn victim zombies.
Yes.
And then we have zombies that are just like dark teal or like an ashy blue.
Those I was calling the Dawn of the Dead zombies.
Right.
They were like, ooh, this is what Romero did in his. Let's paint everybody like a blue color. Because that's what works.
But I also love the fact that there's like his skin's falling off. Let's do those zombies, those too.
Yeah, exactly.
When they go to get water and she's like bending down by it's got to be like a pool.
The most disgusting pool.
I don't even think it's like a lake. It's like a pool, which reminds me of like watching It Chapter 1 last night, where you have the kid going like, "Ew, it's gray water. Don't touch gray water." And she's like filling up a water bottle. I'm like, there's no way that is safe to drink.
No, it is just green nastiness. I was like, I wouldn't even attempt. No, I don't care how sick that kid is.
No.
This is going to make him worse.
And then you have zombies like float up, or at least just dead bodies float up.
Yeah. From here, this is where they slowly start to come out of the trees, right? Where they're like, I call them the electrocuted zombies. That's kind of how they walk. They would like jerk like they're being electrocuted. And I'm like, what are you doing? You
also have the woman coming out of the sanctuary, and you have the two coming back and saying like, oh, they're there, zombies, they're coming out of the trees.
This whole scene I thought was cool.
You have Zombie Kid eating.
Zombie Kid ate the dude in the car.
The way that he turned around and is like snarling, while he is like eating like meat. I wrote down, I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's Gage from Pet Cemetery.
Like that was cool.
No, that's a great thing.
And did you notice like when they were shooting him, like they didn't put squibs or thing on him because they don't want it to look like
right
shooting a kid. So the kid was just like,
but
jerking.
I mean, okay, they didn't play. Like they fired that gun and that kid was like. Like he slammed up against the car and I'm like, all right, let's shoot the kid. Okay, we established early on, and the soldiers established early on, shoot
them in the head. And where do they not shoot them? They don't shoot them in the head.
Where do they not shoot them 90% of the time? In the head.
Correct.
They consistently fire at the bodies, despite the fact that each of them, every single one of them, has literally said throughout the film, shoot the head, shoot the head.
Yes.
And yet they continue to waste bullets. These are slow-moving zombies. Zatanna made it very clear that you can like dance, you can do a dance and a jig around them fast enough to get away and still piss them off and shoot them in the face, and you're going to be fine. If they would simply have taken their time, no one would have died.
Well, I forgot that there was the one girl that died. She was strung up when they walked under her.
What I wrote that too. I was like, how did she get in the rafters? How?
Yeah.
No zombie is like going in the rafters.
I love the close up of her, and all of a sudden you just see her. You kind of see her tongue push forward, to, like she pushed the blood out.
Sorry, the priest zombie did not throw her up in the rafters because he would have been up there eating her.
Yeah,
he didn't like sit here and say like, "I'm going to come back to you later.
I need to hang you up. Make sure you don't get away.
We got to dry the meat."
More zombies come. They stop them, and is this where she decides she needs to go talk to the tribesmen and decides I got to get naked?
Okay, so like before that, I got to make a note. When the military group, before they get to the mission, the guy's looking through the binoculars. The binocular vision that they show is not even the same country that they look at.
Stock footage.
And I know, it's just all stock footage. Also, like every zombie, when they're stiff and walking, looks like they're holding in a shit.
That or they're being electrocuted because they're just like
Or they're being
jerking.
electrocuted. I don't understand exactly if this infection, and let's be generous. Let's just be very generous. Let's say the infection happened and it has been, let's be very generous. Let's say 2 months. Okay? It's been 2 months of infection spreading and running around. Again,
Okay.
Why are we filming at a location? And let's ignore the obvious answer of money. Why are we filming at a location that is broken down and looks like, again, like it was left in the 40s? Money.
Yes.
It's the default answer, but like it annoys me. But I understand it, but it annoys me.
I guess I don't want to assume that they just thought you would put the pieces together. It's been a while. Stuff's happened here a while ago.
Or that you wouldn't put the pieces together. I think a lot of the stuff, much like the stock footage and much like the footage of the animals, I think that Mattei is kind of just hoping that his audience like smiles and nods and just kind of like rolls with it. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of stuff that I think that, again, as we've clearly acknowledged, it's just there and it doesn't really make sense. Kind of like back at the plant, or at least another facility where they're monitoring. No, it wasn't the plant. It was like the TV station. I love that in the background. There's a giant poster of a cat.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't notice the cat poster.
There's a giant face of a cat on the wall. It has no context, just a big cat face. And I'm just like, why? Why is that okay? But I love when the people they're driving him around and like, you know, the kid is dead, the guy is dead, the other lady who got out to get air is dead, who's the mom of the kid. They're now taking the reporter and the camera guy, and I love how they're all like, "No, we got to take him right now. We'll kill him later. Reporters make trouble." And I'm like, they are 2 feet from you. And you are talking very, very loud.
And then they decide, oh, it's okay. The whole tribesman thing is the side story that got me, of how she was like, you know, I've been here for a year. I've been there for years. I can go talk to him. And then she just like strips. And the next scene, she's all painted.
I know what to do.
Yeah.
Shirt off, no bra, random body paint that I just happened to have with me. And
I had it in my other pants.
And a poison ivy thong bikini bottom. Like, why? Why? Because I think I wrote down boobs out, leaf thong bikini, slightly racist tribal paint. Check. Let's go.
Let's go.
And when she gets to the village, no other woman is dressed like this.
Were there other women aside from the stock footage? There were women in the stock footage.
There were women in the stock footage, and then you later on, when they're in the hut, you have the woman who's like back, like massaging his shoulders, and he, for some reason, also like I think it's Zatanna, but there's Zatanna, like he like leans in for a kiss to her. You have the stock footage of the village. You have a funeral going on. You have a guy who is dead and tied to a chair with just like a string around his wrist. But then you also have like, I mean, I don't know about you, Bradley, but for my Papua New Guinea zombie film, I want to have at least 10 times the amount of tribal dong.
There just wasn't enough here for you.
There was clearly not enough tribal dong.
But that was only in the stock footage. The regular actors didn't show anything. All the stock footage they did.
Like, what was the purpose of that?
Like you said earlier, we'd cut in random animals like a toucan and like other creatures.
I will say this right now, just so I can get it out of the way. The stock footage of the elephants and the stock footage of the red-headed cranes later on.
Yeah.
More importantly, red-headed cranes that have turkey noises backing up to their footage. So the cranes and the elephants are not native to Papua New Guinea. There are no wild red-headed cranes or elephants in Papua New Guinea. So again, splicing in random.
I like that animal. Put it in the movie.
Yeah, let's just throw it in there. Does it serve a purpose? No,
just put it in. We're good.
I love the thing where clearly it should be and could be spreading infection, and it should have been, I think, more to a point where the woman is like eating the decaying meat out of the eye socket.
Oh,
that
was cool.
Of the corpse. But like while she's doing it, she's also like breastfeeding like a baby.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's gonna like see, that's where like that should have been like a first thing, and where it could show like this is how the infection is spreading. Maybe this is not just like a mother, but maybe it's like a nursemaid, right? Like maybe she's not only just breastfeeding her baby, but she's breastfeeding like another baby for like a woman, you know, maybe like the mother died in childbirth or something, or whatever.
So, and this is where you need the army of zombie babies right after this, is what you're saying.
See, we don't have child soldiers. We have child zombies.
That is what this movie was missing all along.
Various war crimes.
Instant 5 stars.
Instant 5 stars. See, and you can't charge us with war crimes. They're already dead.
Now, I will say there is a scene shortly here with the, like, is it a cat or something that comes out of the grandma?
Oh God, that's like way ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a cat that like emerges. You're like, am I watching The Uninvited?
What movie are we going with now? We're shifting gears again into something else.
I do love when the reporter comes back. She's now has all her clothes on, and it's nighttime, and the group is, you know, kind of like just kind of getting into it. I said the tribe with synthetic music. I said they're moving up in the world. She's back, and he says like, how are you? And she says, oh, I'm pie-eyed. And I had to look up pie-eyed. Okay, drunk. Just say drunk.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I'm quite drunk. The guy who's in there, I think it's the character of Zatanna. I said, like, he's clapping and having fun. Then he's sleepy. Next moment, he's vomiting. It was just a random 3-stage of like progression of how he's doing. Escapes the restraint, the one who's been like up in the chair.
Yeah, the throne zombie that I said earlier. Yeah.
The throne zombie. Yeah. And then suddenly from him, again, you have zombie escapes restraints. I said Italian women screaming in horror flicks are hilarious. Yeah. But then suddenly, again, out of nowhere, we have different forms of zombies throughout, you know, the horror genre. You have slow moving zombies. You have the infected from like 28 Days Later, because I refuse to call them zombies. You have the infected who move very, very fast.
Yes.
But then you also have, you know, it's rage. These zombies seem to like teleport because they appear out of nowhere. And if you go ask, you know, Brett, Dan, and Angela over at Dissect That Film, when we talked about the living dead at Manchester Morgue, we talked about the main zombie guy who also apparently teleports from like place to place. No one knows how he gets there. You
know, that's how those, that one's an Italian Spanish co-production. So the Italians are like, this is how you got to do it. You gotta get them to jump around a little bit.
When they start fighting off the zombies in the village and they get in the car and they drive away, I just wrote, screw the natives.
We're out.
Everybody run. I said they literally left and just said good riddance and just drove off.
With their blue, green, gray. Every zombie was a different color.
Right. They left everybody to die.
They did.
Like they said, screw this.
It's survival of the fittest.
Well, I was trying to think also, like, then what was the point of going to the village in the first place? It's not like they acquired anything. It's not like we learned anything new. I mean, honestly, we really didn't.
Yeah, I think it was just hey, this would be cool to put in here, because cannibal type movies are big in the early 80s too. Like zombies, cannibals.
I tried to look at, you know, various scenes and go, could this be reminiscent of like Cannibal Holocaust? And I'm like, no, it's not even that offensive.
No,
like this is PBS compared to like Cannibal Holocaust.
Yes. I mean, a lot of it was very tame compared to, I mean, even Zombie or other Italian
Although,
films,
I mean, man, I want to see a zombie fight a shark again.
There is one scene in this movie that is 100% a like Fulci ripoff scene. And that's when they like break through that window and grab her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when they are in the house.
Yeah.
That's up to the time, like after she suddenly takes them hostage, but then they get the gun away from her. But then they're comfortable enough not to like tie her up. They leave her untied. Like she gets scolded like, your cigarette. It can be seen. Like, here, chew this tobacco. And I love that they go driving. Like, you're in Papua New Guinea. None of you know where to go. Maybe the reporter, because she actually lived with this tribe for a year, but she would know where that place is. But they're just driving.
No.
They're just driving. And they suddenly end up in the backyard of like a suburban home. When the guy goes down the slide,
It's a small country. You know, the tribes and the civilization are close together.
No, okay. In 1980, the population of Papua New Guinea had 3.8 million.
See, small. It was tiny.
It's the size of LA.
So getting to place, I mean, it was pretty quick.
But I do love this house, and this is where we do find Grandma
With the cat coming out, feisty grandma.
with the cat coming out. Yeah, feisty Grandma. I love that Grandma does not look like any other zombie. Grandma looks like Grandma, except for a cat just erupted from her stomach.
She's a whole different breed compared to all the 20 other kinds of zombies we saw previously. We got a new one.
Before this even takes place, I love the random footage of the UN, but it's like a 99% empty forum room.
Well, that's because they all died because of the zombie apocalypse that's going on, remember?
I mean, is it? It's
I don't know.
Located. I'm pretty sure it's only located in Papua New Guinea because
We really don't know. It doesn't set that up for you ever.
I just love that there's like delegates from like 4 countries and one of them being the US, and he looks like the least US resident ever. He looks like he's from Wales or France.
He probably was
looks French,
and he
probably was.
Just obviously they dubbed him over.
I love the black actor who's sitting there going like, "You have done this to my country. You have brought death upon us all. You have done this to my people." And it's like, what? Is this not okay?
They're like, it's okay.
But I love the of course, like split the group and search on your own in the suburban home, because you have the guy who goes down to the basement and he's like, "Oh, clothes. Let's dress up." I don't know about you. When your suburban home comes complete with a corpse in the pool, you have hit Spielberg level with your swimming pool.
Living a dream right there.
The head guy, London, he's like, "Go check the cellar." And I'm like, how do you know there's a cellar?
Maybe all the houses they're supposed to have one?
What happened? There's no. This is the only house they've been to.
Maybe he'd been to other houses previously, not zombie ridden before the apocalypse happened.
Not in that country. But I love the guy playing dress up. He reminded me of A Clockwork Orange, putting like on the tutu and the top hat and the cane.
Oh yes,
and like dancing around.
He's kind of going. He's starting to lose his mind. And
oh no, he is.
Yeah,
he is. The camera guy is an asshole because like he's just walking around going like, "Man, if I wish there were only something to eat. What a shit house." And I'm like, "You're a dick." Like, this is someone's home.
And you're just trying to survive right now.
And you're trying to survive. Like, they're probably dead. Like, you're a dick.
Some of their deaths was pulled from, like, Dawn of the Dead. And when they grab, I forget which one it was that they kind of pulled to the ground, where they're like clawing at him. That
one was very reminiscent, yeah, of Dawn of the Dead. Who was that? Oh, that was the basement guy. Oh,
yeah.
Because he randomly got caught off guard because zombies just magically appear out of nowhere.
Up. Well, he's going a little crazy. He's not paying attention. He's losing his focus.
He's losing his mind. He's doing a dance number.
Yeah, he is.
We're all distracted by zombie cat grandma upstairs.
It was still playing in his head.
Of course, the female reporter who gets caught through the window.
It was a cool scene.
As they're trying to... No, it's a cool scene.
That looked like it was out of Zombie or even The Beyond. Like, just the way it was framed, lit, and they kind of busted through and grabbed her.
Or even Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, it looked just like that. Which, there's so many zombie movies, and Romero, Fulci, and everyone else. There were all these movies. It's hard not to be like, that was cool. I want to set something up similar to this.
I remember writing... Why is zombie grandma the most endearing grandma?
Why was zombie grandma the most endearing grandma?
Like, she was dead and she wanted to eat you, but you also look at her and you kind of go like, Oh, Nona. I love the fact that he has to save the reporter, just despite the fact that in like maybe 20 minutes earlier in the movie, he was like, no, we'll kill him. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need them. They're going to cause problems. And I'm like, if you wanted her dead, you should have just let them eat her.
Now,
Like, why are you saving her?
It's trying to survive and knowing that, oh, we're dwindling down. I might need friends.
Right. Once again, they're encountering numerous zombies. Why do they keep shooting the chest?
I don't know at this point of the movie. And they've said it. How many times have they said shoot in the head?
Shoot the head. Shoot the head. I made myself laugh when Max was like holding the door and the zombies are trying to get through. And I just wrote down on my notes, hold the door, hold door, hold door.
The one scene in the elevator when the blood's coming down on them,
that was cool.
but they're like blood's like getting in their mouth and everything. I'm like,
she's staring up.
it's in her mouth now. She's gonna turn.
He has to pull her away from like staring up like
Oh.
lady, what are you doing?
What's that? Oh, is there stuff falling down?
Before Zatanna died in the elevator, I love his moment of like snapping, and when he's in the car and he's just like, he turns his hat around like he's a skateboard punk, and he's just like too much.
Yes.
The zombies that followed that were on the beach were the exact same zombies that they were driving past when they were driving up to the beach.
Well, they only have so many extras.
Right.
They got to reuse them. Be like, oh, you wore green the first time. Let's put you in blue. Maybe.
Let's put you in blue. Okay. So when they take the boat and they go to the factory or this like power plant, the power plant is clearly in a populated area.
We're at the plant basically that we started the movie from.
Yes. We are at a plant. And so obviously ground zero is Papua New Guinea.
Full circle.
It comes full circle. The reporter lady even has her own little dramatic monologue about it.
And then she dies.
But it's clearly in a populated area. And I wrote like the leak from the factory shouldn't have anything to do with what specifically happened to the isolated tribes in the jungle or even that mission. I said they're nowhere near. They're nowhere near each other. No, none of it's connected. But of course, I wrote movie's got a movie. Because that's exactly what it is.
I mean,
movie has to movie.
It was a rat that caused all this, not the tribesman.
Not even a rat. Like, it wasn't even the rat. It was the guy tripping over the gas leak.
Oh, yeah.
So her monologue was about the fact that they were making a gas in order to kill overpopulated areas, which is why it was called Project Sweet Death. And so the rat just caused him to break off a seal and release the gas. So it's not even like the rat was infected with anything. I think it's also just hilarious that apparently like we're supposed to expect that, or somehow connect that the gas leak from the factory made it all the way to the isolated tribes in the jungle and the mission. But even when they get there and they're just like searching around, I love when he's all like, find the freight elevator. And I'm like, wouldn't the freight elevator be on the bottom level? You're going up. Sorry, I think way too logically for movies like this.
Especially a movie like this. This is the movie, Drew, that you don't think logically because there is zero logic involved the entire film.
But it's what I do.
But our final girl, she doesn't make it.
No, she gets, man. Okay, after Zatanna is grabbed into the elevator, you know, the doors close, he's taken up, the blood drips down, it drips on her. Again, oh no, that wasn't Zatanna. That was Max. I said, oh, bye, Max, elevator death. When they go to the rooftop before they're continuing to another level to continue up more stairs, this is the first zombie that we've ever seen that didn't slowly walk or even look like it's being electrocuted. This is the first zombie that we have ever seen that leapfrogged and attacked. The guy who just like randomly, like he jumped out from the side and bit London.
Oh, yes. I didn't even like register that.
It's the only zombie that like didn't just like shamble up. He just, like he's sitting there, he's like, surprise, motherfucker. like he gets bit and he's like, no, leave me. And they carry him on with them and they go and they inspect, more of the rooms and they find the recording. Did you notice that the blood drips on her face changed from when she was staring up?
I didn't notice, but I'm not surprised.
They were the blood drips on her face when she looked up. They were slightly different when she went up the stairs. And then when she's doing her own little monologue, they're completely different blood drips. So clearly it was a new recording and they said, oh, let's just add some blood.
Maybe she ran out. They ran out of time one day and like, well, we'll finish it up tomorrow.
The horde of zombies in the factory, like coming down the stairs, coming up the stairs, like they're just trying to get to them so they can eat them. I love that at least 2 of the zombies are in leotards, and I'm wondering if this is like company approved outerwear for working in the factory.
It might be comfort.
Maybe for comfort.
Keeps you cooler, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's government issue. One guy was in a Hawaiian shirt. So I was wondering if he was like he's like the CEO.
He's the accountant.
I'm the factory's lawyer.
But as these zombies move in, we find that all these, I'm going to put air quotes up in the air, commandos have turned into zombies too, and they are part of the crowd coming at her.
I do love her death as her tongue is ripped out.
Her death was pretty good.
And they're essentially like fisting her mouth.
Yes. I was like, oh my gosh.
So much that like her eyes pop out of her skull.
Yeah. I was sitting there thinking, okay, is this going to be his try to be a Fulci eye scene? And it kind of was. You just see that, and then you see your eyes, and all of a sudden it just go, poof. I just sat there and I was like,
they go other ways.
Oh, that's cool. So her death was good.
I mean, even the screaming, she can still scream. Ripping out the tongue wouldn't actually stop her from screaming. But I guess they needed more room.
When you got a whole fist in your mouth going up to poke your eyes out, that might make the screaming just a bit difficult.
They need to remake this movie. But what they need to do is they need to cast that lady with the Guinness record who has the largest mouth. And then when they redo this scene, either she's the lead or, yes, see? Either she's the lead or she's just a random death where they kind of pay homage to this death. They don't one-fist it, they two-fist it.
None of our teams survive this. They don't make it through.
Oh, no, it is not a happy ending.
Unfortunately. Overall, what would you rate Hell of the Living Dead, or whatever you want to call it? Night of the Zombies, Zombie
Virus,
Flesh, whatever it's called.
It gets a 2.5 out of 5. It's not a terrible movie by any stretch of the imagination. I wouldn't say it is a great movie by any stretch of the imagination also, but it's a good time because you can enjoyably watch it, sit there, make fun of it, kind of like I did throughout the entire time watching it again. There's quite a few WTF moments.
Yes.
I think for the small, very much like, a good solid golf clap acknowledgement to special effects, practical special effects, mind you.
Yeah.
Kudos to the director and the cast. There are some really good moments in the movie. They borrow a lot. There's a lot that doesn't make sense.
Oh, yes.
There's a lot of stuff that's just there.
Through this month of Mattei, you're going to hear there's a whole lot that doesn't make sense, probably more often than not.
Bruno Mattei. He doesn't make sense.
I actually had a stupidly good time with this movie. This movie, like you said, there is a lot that doesn't make sense. So much that doesn't connect. Stock footage that's just randomly placed.
That's just there.
I give this a 3 because it's one of those that, you know what? I could probably just put this on and watch it because it's just dumb fun. And I think especially watching it with other people, you could just make fun of it and laugh and go, this is just stupid enjoyment.
Yeah, 100%.
Will it be my favorite of this month? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I don't think it will. I'm hoping you enjoy Rat's Night of Terror the most.
Wait and see. Drew, I want to thank you for coming on to talk Hell of the Living Dead. This is like the perfect movie for us to talk about. Probably any of his movies were the perfect movie for you and I to talk about.
For me to take way too seriously and try to dissect.
As Jason from Binge Movies said, why are you and Drew not doing every episode of this?
Because we got to spread the love around, Jason. How else is...
We do. I think if you and I just did every dumb movie together, ridiculous film.
Don't threaten me with a good time, Bradley.
I mean, we'd have fun.
We'd have fun, but you got to spread it around.
It's fun when I can make someone like Gerald at the Awards Garage watch Cruel Jaws as one of, a huge Jaws fan as he is, and to go, what the fuck are you making me watch?
See, that's what I think you look forward to the most.
I do.
When myself, Gerald, maybe even Jason will text you and go, what the hell am I watching?
Exactly. I live for it.
Because I know I've done that multiple times over the years.
I know for a fact you will be back for something. Right now on social media, we're going through our hashtag Summer of Scares. You're doing summer-themed horror movies as part of your Summer of Scares.
I'm directly trying to adhere to horror films that take place directly. I think some consolation I've been allowing has been the very end of like the high school senior year. So like maybe they just graduated and they're getting ready to go. It's not like full-fledged summer. So it's either that or it's like all the way through summer.
All right.
So if I can get it through all the way through summer, like my most recent watch yesterday was watching It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2.
We didn't set any rules. We just said Summer of Scares from June 1st until my birthday, September 1st. We're just, for me, it's just any horror movie I watch as part of Summer of Scares, just because it's the summer right now, and that's just what it is. This is what was replacing our 200 days or like
100.
This way we're not tied to a number. We're just having a good summer.
We're not killing ourselves over the fact of trying to get...
like, oh crap, I'm behind on my numbers.
No. I like this. I think it's good.
Follow Drew. Just look for Real Feels Pod. Is that what?
If you just kind of Google, guys, the Real Feels Podcast, you'll find us on Twitter, because I refuse to call it X. We are at Real Feels Pod, and I believe it's still Real Feels Podcast over on Instagram. If Brad reminds me enough, I will go over to Blue Sky and check it every now and then. I forget. Because I don't use it and I forget. But if it's the only way I can talk to Jason, I might get on there more frequently. I'm more frequent on Twitter and Instagram.
Follow us and see all of our watches. You can watch along. There are a few other people, at least on Blue Sky, people I know that do the Tubi Tuesday watches with me. They're also doing some Summer of Scares as well. So it's quite fun when you're just seeing people like other people kind of go along with it.
Kind of follow along. Yeah. You can follow both of us on Letterboxd. We always log our films. Brad's a lot better at actually writing little, snippets of an actual review. I just throw a number.
Sometimes. I've gotten lazy lately. That will do it for this chapter, this second movie in the month of Mattei. Next week, I will be talking Rats, Night of Terror with Jason from History of Bad Ideas. So just make sure you subscribe to the show and you'll never miss any of this month of Mattei, any of my regular episodes, any Tales from Tubi versus all the things that I do over here at Old Man Brad. Just snuggle up in that blanket, turn off the lights, because it's okay to be scared. I'll talk to you later, everybody.